So I was thinking about something, man. I see a lot of times people like to go into the Bible and they say, hey, Jesus never talked about this. Jesus never talked about that. So was it important? Now, here's the thing. Jesus is, in my opinion, the most important individual in the Bible. Okay. However, Jesus coming did not somehow automatically negate everything that came from the prophets or prophetesses that came before him. All right. Moses, Elijah, Elisha, Jeremiah, what they said and what they preached is not somehow invalid. Okay. I believe Jesus actually alludes to that himself. Okay. That what they taught is still important. Okay. So I've never understood the argument. Well, Jesus never talked about that. It doesn't really matter. He doesn't have to have covered it. If there's a prophet in the Bible that talked about that, then it's been covered. Okay. If it's been talked about elsewhere, a certain issue has been talked about in the Bible, and Jesus didn't talk about it, it's still good. Okay. Now, but let's look at this. Okay. Those men and women in the Bible, okay, God sent these people. These people were God's spokespeople. So when you represent somebody, you're speaking for that person. Okay, you're their representative. All right, you're that spokesperson. So what Jeremiah said, what Elijah said, that came from God. Okay, these men and women who were sent there by God, they represent God, and what comes out of their mouth is from God. Okay. Um, why do you think these corporations and these companies, when they hire certain workers and certain employees, you can't say certain things because you represent them? Let's look at the NBA. When those players go out there and they sell drugs or they beat their women, they fine them. Okay, they suspend them. All right, they'll even ban you from the NBA in certain cases because you represent them. Even though the NBA isn't going out there saying those things or saying, "Hey, I'm racist," or "I don't want to beat up women." When you play for those teams, you represent that team. You represent the NBA. That's why they have to come down on them dudes hard. That's why they have clauses in their contract. That's why certain actors have clauses in their contract that, hey, if you do certain things, we can void your contract because you represent us. All right. In the Bible, when these preachers, apostles, prophets, whatever, prophetesses, whatever, these people chosen by God, they represent God. Okay. And actually, there are some cases in the Bible where when God sends certain people in the Old Testament to do his work and they don't do it, he punishes them. Okay. He actually punishes them. Okay. Now, but anyways, I've never understood this argument. I find it funny. Let's think about this. Okay. Jesus says many times in the Bible that he is, in fact, God. Okay. Okay. Now, in many cases in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, you see that these individuals who are preaching were directly sent by God. Okay. You have many cases where an angel is sent to them and says, "Hey, this is what you're going to say." Okay. This is what you're going to say, and this is what you're going to do. You even have some cases where these people are actually directly talking to God and saying and being told, "Hey, look, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to say to the king. This is what you're going to preach to the people." Okay. Many times in the Bible, they're getting a message from God, or they're being told by an angel, "This is what God wants you to say." Okay. So these individuals represent God. Okay. So what they say comes directly from God. Okay. So saying, well, Jesus didn't talk about this, it doesn't really matter because if Jeremiah talked about it, Elijah talked about it, well, was talked about it by any prophet or any agent of God, it doesn't matter. It's good. Okay. But let me make one last little point. The Bible and Jesus says he's God. Okay. Now, if you believe Jesus was God, then that means All throughout the Bible, whether the New Testament, Old Testament, when those people were sent by God to do anything, to go preach to this city or go preach to that city, okay, or go say something to this king over here or this ruler, that means Jesus was sending them. Oh, yes, you heard me. Well, Jesus never talked about this. It don't matter, okay? Because any of these human agents of God who were sent to do anything at any point in the Bible, okay, these people are representing God and getting that direction from God. Pretty much God said it, okay? And if Jesus is God and you agree to that, then that means Jesus sent those people. That meant that everything that Moses was told to do, Abraham, Jeremiah, Elijah, whoever, whatever man or woman who got direction from God and was told to do something, that means it came from Jesus. That means everything in this Bible was dictated by Jesus Christ, and that means that Jesus did talk about everything in the Bible that any agent of God, any human agent of God was told to do came from Jesus. Okay, that's exactly what that means, and that came to me the other day because people say, "Oh, Jesus never talked about this." Wrong. If Jeremiah talked about it, if Moses was told to do something, or this person was told to do something and it came from God, that means it came from Jesus. Okay. So Jesus talked about everything in the Bible was talked about is covered by Jesus.